Regular seasons are nearing their end. That's right, postseason play will be here shortly for Maryland sports, but before that, we have to talk about a Big Ten Conference champion, streaks being upended, and we'll take a jump into the transfer portal, all that and more on this edition of The Left Bench.
Welcome back to The Left Bench, brought to you by Terrapin Sports Central. I'm Benji Kaufman, and next to me is my partner, Jona Jancewicz. Jona, lots to talk about as we are right in the thick of spring sports.
Yeah, Benji. Lacrosse teams closing out their regular seasons soon, and baseball and softball beginning their home stretches. Fun time of the year for the Terps.
For sure, Jona. So let's start off the show talking some lax. Number 9, Maryland men's lacrosse hosted number 18 Rutgers Saturday with a share of the Big Ten title on the line, and the Hardshells were simply dominant. Even though Maryland falls behind 1-0 in the first quarter, the Terps offense wreaks havoc on the Scarlet Knights in the first half, knocking home 8 goals with 7 different goal scorers. In the second half, it's more the same. Rutgers has no answer for the Terps defense, which forces a season-high 12 turnovers. Brian Ruppel makes 8 saves and lifts the trophy as the Terps face number 10 Johns Hopkins this weekend. Here's John Tillman after the win.
I'm just happy after a tough start. These guys have really stuck together, and then to obviously bring home a championship to the school, the department, the state, is something I think all these guys are super proud of.
Now, following this latest stretch for the Terps, we need someone to help us put this into perspective, so no better than Trevor Gomes from the Diamondback to assist us. Trevor, thanks so much for coming on the show.
Yeah, thank you guys for having me.
Well, Trevor, we're going to have to start with the 3-game win streak the Terps are on, and it's been a lot about the defense. The most goals they've allowed has been 8 in this stretch. What's really changed on the defensive side, from earlier this season where they were, losing 3 games in a row?
Yeah, the defense has been talking. I think that's the biggest thing. They've been communicating. Riley Reese has been a big part of that. He's taken on that on-field vocal leader role. He said that that's something that he's embracing, kind of like Colin Burles did last year. That was something that the Terps were kind of lacking early on in the season, and they've cut back on the miscues all around. There's no miscommunications, no backdoor cuts, nobody's ball watching and just allowing easy goals. And I mean, the team allowed double-digit goals in 6 of their first 7 games, and now past 3 games they've allowed 8 or fewer goals. So the defense has really locked in.
What do you make of this season so far? 6-4 record, but also a Big Ten championship. How does this team compare to previous Terrapin squads we've seen? Yeah,
they started not like other Maryland squads. They started 1-3, which was their worst start in years. There was a first 3-game losing streak in the John Tillman era. That was just pretty uncharacteristic. They put themselves in unfamiliar territory, kind of behind the 8 ball. But now they're starting to establish an identity. Their defense has been strong, which is something that Maryland kind of hangs their hat on. And they're Big Ten champions again. That's like Maryland. That's the standard they've established.
So this part of the season, pretty much done with the regular season at this point. Who would you give the MVP right now?
Yeah, I would say Leo Johnson. As mediocre as the offense has been, at times it has struggled, but Leo Johnson is just the engine that makes the offense go. He leads the team in goals, leading assist man, leads them in points, leads the Big Ten in points a game. Seems like he's involved in some way in basically every other goal that you see on the field. He's just been so dominant. He's a good shooter, can dodge, and he's really just the offensive focal point for this team.
And who would be your biggest surprise? Like, what coming into the season, who did you not have that high expectations for that's really exceeded those?
Riley Reese, for sure. He's actually playing just because Will Schaller, their top defender, got injured, and he's been amazing since he's come in. The defense has really turned around since Schaller got injured. Actually, a large part of that because of Reese. Had a career high 5 caused turnovers against Rutgers, which is ridiculous, and they held them to 2 goals. I mean, that was their best defensive effort in years, really. So yeah, Reese has been incredible so far.
Now, with a Big Ten championship under this team's belt, what's it going to take for the Terps to take that next step, rise to the occasion, and compete for a national championship?
Yeah, I think the 2 most important things are going to be on the offensive side of the ball. First is getting Eric Spanos back healthy. He missed 3 games with an injury. He's been back, but he's been still a little bit rusty. So getting him back to full health before the NCAA tournament is going to be big. And then just sticking to the game plan that offensive coordinator Michael Phipps and Coach Tillman have long stuck to for this team, just sharing the ball, not focusing in on one guy, which they've tended to do too much this season, just playing free-flowing offense. That's going to be the biggest things.
Well, we can't let you leave here before we get your prediction for the rest of the season. Where do you think they're going to end up?
Knowing Coach Tillman, it's John Tillman. I mean, there's 3 inevitabilities in life. It's death, taxes, and John Tillman winning games in May, as people have said. So I would say Final Four probably. He's made the Final Four in 11 of his 15 seasons, so I would say Final Four.
Well, thank you, Trevor. It's a pleasure as always. And thank you, great time. And we'll see if your prediction comes right.
Thank you.
To read Trevor's coverage of Maryland men's lacrosse, follow him at Trevor A. Gomes on Twitter and dbknews.com.
From the men to the ladies, Maryland women's lacrosse faced off against Northwestern. The last time these two programs met was the 2025 Big Ten title game. Maryland lost heartbreaking fashion, 8-7. So this time, the Terps are out for revenge, and things start going south. Thursday night is almost an exact repeat of that championship match. In the first half, Maryland offense surges, scoring 5 goals in just over a quarter of play. But it is deja vu all over again for the Terps. Northwestern starts chipping away, and Terps commit 16 turnovers compared to Northwestern's 11. And Maryland loses 19 ground balls. Corey Edmondson tries her best Superman impression, closing the gap to 1 goal in the fourth quarter. But the final draw control went the Wildcat way, and Northwestern ran out the clock, winning 11-10.
But the Big Ten Conference, listen, is the best conference in the nation, hands down, without a doubt. It's not even comparable this year with the success that these Big Ten schools are having. And so we know that we have a battle on our hands out there in Michigan, and then a quick turnaround to get ready for Ohio State, and then a really quick turnaround to get ready for the Big Ten tournament.
On Thursday night, the Maryland offense scored the second fewest goals in a game this season, in large part to self-inflicted mistakes and great goalkeeping from Northwestern's Jenica Cuoco.
TSC's Aubrey
Maryland's offense struggled against Northwestern's goalkeeper Jenica Cuoco in their 11-10 loss Thursday night, their first of the season. Maryland's offense has been on fire all season, averaging just over 13 goals a game. The Terps got the lead, but around mid-second quarter, Cuoco started to take over. Cuoco, an experienced player, was able to keep scoring for the Terps relatively controlled. Maryland took 27 shots on goal, but only landed 10.
Recognize that we need to limit our mental errors with the cards that we were getting. And, we, again, 4-man down goals is too many. We don't want to be put in that situation.
Leaving Cuoco with 9 saves. The game was close and came down to the fourth. Corey Edmondson's heroics closed the gap for the Terps, but the offense's sloppy play throughout the game didn't give the Terps any chance of coming back. Cuoco's 9 saves were the difference in a 1-point Maryland loss.
We know that we have a battle on our hands out there in Michigan, and then a quick turnaround to get ready for Ohio State, and then a really quick turnaround to get ready for the Big Ten tournament.
The Terps don't have time to dwell on their loss. They head to number 6, Michigan, for their next matchup. From CQ Stadium for Terrapin Sports Central, I'm Aubrey Wurst. Maryland's offense struggled.
Nice piece there from Aubrey, but this game for the Terps was probably something that they needed. Starting the year undefeated, they're going to play the best teams in the country going forward. So getting their heads right like this in a game like this is, I think, something that will be useful.
Well, that next game at Michigan, another top 10 matchup. Right. I mean, you could hear Coach Reese. The Big Ten is stacked year in and year out. The depth of the teams is crazy. So we'll see if they can start a new winning streak this season at Michigan. And the Terps offense is getting a boost next year. Kathy Reese signed her daughter, Kaden Reese, as the top recruit in the 2026 class. She joins the Reese Family 3 of lacrosse. TSC's Sierra Green has more.
Your high school lacrosse coach is your dad, and your college coach is about to be your mom. That's the story of the #1 high school recruit and Maryland women's lacrosse commit, Kaden Reese.
Well, Kaden was born in the middle of the season here in 2008. And that was, in itself a challenge, but she was, coming out to practice, and players would walk her around the field in a stroller, and, she just grew up a part of Maryland lacrosse from the very beginning.
For the past 4 years, Kaden and her dad grew Maryville to the #1 high school girls team in the country, winning a title last season and going undefeated so far in this one. And now she's ready to play for mom.
I didn't really look at any other schools. I knew it was Maryland. I decided, I think, on September 1st, so it wasn't really a decision for me.
Maryland pride runs deep in the Reese family. Kaden's 2 older brothers play for the Maryland men's lacrosse team.
Maryland lacrosse is a big part of Kathy and I's life and our career, and to have our kids kind of be in the same field and wearing the same uniforms is pretty special for us.
Her parents, both All-Americans, played lacrosse at Maryland and met each other there during their freshman year.
I think everyone's ended up where they're supposed to be.
Despite being the nation's #1 overall recruit, the process was complicated.
I wanted her to have her experience and get all the attention that she deserves, but at the same time, I wanted to lock her up and get her to say she's coming to play for the Terps. And so at midnight on September 1st, I sent her a text. Yes, I was downstairs and she's upstairs in her room, but so did my staff, so she could go through the recruiting process with Maryland too. And on September 1st, she was like, well, this is what I wanted to do.
Although being coached by your parents is
It's been really fun.
It has a lot of challenges.
And said, listen, if I'm going to coach you, I'm probably going to be harder on you than I am on anybody else.
Kaden Reese dominates not only as a team captain, but a player underneath her dad right here on this field, but also dominating right here in this gym and bringing a championship basketball title back to Maryville.
Being able to learn different things from each sport helps you really grow into a leader.
Kaden's the #1 recruit in lacrosse, but in the basketball, she's a different role. And to see them be able to kind of take on those roles and those challenges, I think helps them develop as people and also as athletes.
Next spring, she looks to bring that same lacrosse dominance to CQ Stadium, this time under the leadership of the other parent. For Terrapin Sports Central, I'm Sierra Green.
And thank you, Sierra. What a great package. And Benji, talking about keeping it in the family, do you think Kathy Reese has ever had a shorter recruitment trip than just going upstairs?
Probably the easiest task she's had to, trying to convince a recruit to come to play for her.
I mean, I don't think you can get shorter than that.
Just that's the best part of sports is finding those kinds of stories, all of that connection, and just so fun to see. But now don't go anywhere, because after the break, we will talk all things transfer portal.
That's right. And TSC's Andrew Braza will join us live outside Xfinity Center. Stay with us right now.
Hate is loud. It gets clicks. It gets attention. Hate, however, is actually quite small. But love is the majority. Love fills our hearts, our lives, our everyday.
Welcome back to the Left Bench, brought to you by Terrapin Sports Central. I am Jona Jancewicz, right here with my partner, Benji Kaufman. Now, before we get to the portal updates, Benji, you're a senior in all 4 years here at Maryland. What has been your favorite Maryland men's basketball or women's basketball memory?
If we're talking games I've seen live, for men's, it's got to be Jameer Young's shot. My freshman year against Illinois, first game of the Big Ten of the Kevin Willard era, was a lot of fun. And then in terms of women's, calling that Maryland-Washington double overtime game earlier this season was a ton of fun. What about you, Jonah?
Well, you dated yourself in the first one because I wasn't here for that. In person, I would have to say Maryland-Wisconsin last year is a great game. Gold out. Not in person, but seeing the Derek Queen shot. I mean, the shot of the tournament last year, just the whole place went crazy. That was quite the scene.
Yeah, for sure.
In following their worst record since the 1988-1989 season, Maryland basketball is entering a critical offseason, preparing for year two in the Buzz Williams era. Next season's team is going to look much different.
That's right. Andrew Braza is outside Xfinity Center with more. Andrew, what do you got?
Following their worst record since the 1988-1989 season, Maryland basketball gears for a critical offseason as they get set to enter year two of the Buzz Williams era in College Park. and next season's team is set to look a whole lot different than this past season's team. The Terps are losing 4 players due to their eligibility expiring, while another 4 have already entered their name in the transfer portal, which opened on April 7th. The question now will be who will stick around and who will be the new faces in College Park. For starters, the Terps will welcome 4 freshman high school commits: 5-star Baba Latatun, 4-stars Caden House and Adama Tambare, and 3-star Austin Brown. Baba Latatun is a top 10 player nationally and the #1 player in the state of Maryland according to most sites. He offers Buzz Williams some physicality and versatility down low. Meanwhile, the 4-stars Caden House and Adama Tambare, House a 6'3" guard from Arizona and Tambare 6'7" from Connecticut, will look to try and make an impact early on as well, while 3-star Austin Brown, a 6'8" forward from Texas, rounds out Maryland's #8 ranked recruiting class in the country. When it comes to this report additions for Maryland, they've already gotten their names on the board, adding big man Tomislav Goldan from New Mexico. The former Lobos true freshman averaged 13.1 points and 10.3 rebounds in 25.9 minutes averaged in his 1 season at New Mexico. He'll come in right away and offer physicality and rebounding prowess for Buzz Williams, as well as the pick and roll game on the offensive side of the ball. The final area to address is who on Maryland's roster currently will return. It's already been confirmed that true redshirt freshmen Andre Mills and George Turkson Jr. have already agreed to reworked deals to return for the 2026-27 season. Those 2 are 2 of the 4 players who followed Buzz Williams from Texas A&M to College Park a season ago. Solomon Washington is out of eligibility. Meanwhile, the team is currently pursuing a waiver with the NCAA to allow Payne to return for 1 more season. He was a scorer and rebounder when he played in the early stretch last season, but dealt with 2 injuries and did not play since against Michigan on December 13th. The Terps continue to look to try and add new talent, both in freshman faces and in established talent. And as we just saw with the aforementioned Wolverines, college basketball is currently built on more experienced and established talent, as they just became the first team of all time to win a championship with a starting 5 comprised entirely of transfers. For the Terps going forward, Williams will look to build on what was a hectic year last year. When he was hired on April 1st, he only had about 2 weeks to put his team together. Now he'll have some more time. Along with Goldan, they'll also welcome Colgate point guard transfer Jeremy Cox, who averaged 17.9 points and 5.3 assists. He is scheduled to meet with Creighton today, Maryland tomorrow, and Kentucky on April 15th. It'll be an interesting dynamic for the rest of the offseason as Maryland gears up in what's going to be a much different looking team next season in College Park.
All right, well, thank you so much, Breza. Basketball teams will be very different next year, and that's starting with Tomislav Buljan. I mean, that's a critical get in the middle. And the wide assumption is that Pharrell Payne will be back next year, so you pair those 2, you have your center power forward position on lock. And then it's about getting the point guard, because they don't have a point guard right now.
Yeah, if they can find a floor general, this will be a very big lineup with Baba probably at the 3, Buljan at the 4, and Payne at the 5. It's exciting stuff happening for men's basketball. But flipping it over to women's basketball, the WNBA draft tonight is at 7 p.m. right after we wrap up. But there is a name Terps fans should look out for. Senior forward Yarden Garzon is certainly receiving some attention. ESPN ranks Garzon 17th on the draft big board, which places her in second-round territory. Garzon joins 6 UCLA Bruins as the only members of the Big Ten listed in the top 25 of the list of prospects. Tune in at 7 p.m. tonight to see where Garzon lands in the WNBA draft.
Trying to get back on the win streak, Maryland softball welcomed number 18 Oregon this past weekend. But after a blowout loss Friday and an extra inning battle Saturday, they were unable to pick up a win in Sunday's contest. Oregon jumped out to a 1-0 lead in the first inning, but then teams were scoreless until the 5th, where Stephanie Maake hit a grand slam, putting the Ducks up 5. Maria Penta responded in the bottom with a 2-run RBI single, cutting the deficit to 3, but that's all the runs the Terps would bring in for the rest of the day. Oregon put up 3 more runs and completed the series sweep with an 8-2 win. Here's head coach Lauren Karn after the loss.
We're playing really close to the best softball we can play, with the exception of just a couple of missed pitches, missed hits. And so if we can take that into the next 2 weekends, we let the chips fall where they may, but we really try to finish this season as strong as we can, playing our best softball.
The last time Maryland baseball won a conference series was in May of 2025. To say it is overdue for the Dirty Terps is a massive understatement, but this weekend, it happened. Maryland drops Game 1 of the series to the Indiana Hoosiers, but bounces back when it matters most. The Terps take the final 2 games, securing their first Big Ten series win of the season. The hero of the weekend, Devin Russell. Russell launches 2 walk-off home runs in the series, including the blast in Game 3 that seals it. A statement series win and maybe a turning point for Maryland moving forward.
Well, if you go back and watch the video, I have both my hands up. So I had both my hands up. I haven't done that, I think, maybe since we were in the regional. I just thought we deserved that. I just thought we deserved that win.
And with some news for today, Devin Russell, following those walk-off performances, was named Big Ten Player of the Week just before this show came on, and just an incredible honor for someone that is very deserving of it.
Yeah, I'd say he's deserving to do that twice in the same series over the same weekend. I mean, what a performance, and yeah, that's Big Ten Player of the Week right there.
We'll see him possibly further in the show, maybe in the C block, but stay tuned for that. But yeah.
And last week, we talked about the conference struggles for Maryland softball under Lauren Karn. But the same could be said for Maryland baseball under Matt Swope.
Despite the exciting weekend, there's still a lot to talk about. Good news is TSC's Joe Wagman is in the studio with the numbers. Joe?
Yeah, guys, while the Dirty Terps were able to pick up a thrilling conference series win, the story has actually been quite the opposite leading up until this point. Coming into their weekend series against Indiana, the Terps had just 2 wins in 12 conference games played, putting them dead last in the Big Ten standings. But even after this past weekend, they're still sitting dead last. Through the Terps' first 12 Big Ten games, they were swept by #1 UCLA and Ohio State, while managing to earn a win in their series against Purdue and #12 USC. Maryland narrowly avoided being swept by Purdue in the series finale after an 8th-inning comeback secured its first conference win of the year. The Terps' win over USC proved to be more impressive, as they're able to score 3 runs against USC starter Grant Goebel, who'd entered that game with a 0.69 ERA. So far, through head coach Matt Swope's nearly 3-year tenure, as we can see, he's 26-43 overall, going 10-14 in 2024, 12-18 in 2025, and currently sitting at 4-11 in 2026. Swope has been unable to match anywhere near the level of Big Ten success that his predecessor, Rob Vaughn, had set. In Vaughn's 6 years at the helm with Maryland, he went 84-54 against Big Ten opponents with 3 conference tournament appearances, not to mention 3 conference World Series appearances as well. While yes, the Big Ten has become more challenging during Swope's time as head coach, the bottom line, Maryland has not been able to get back to the level of success that Vaughn had left them on in conference play. Fortunately for the Terps, 12 out of 17 Big Ten baseball programs make the conference tournament. And they still have 15 Big Ten games remaining of this regular season. With that being said, the Terps have already played their toughest stretch of conference play. So you're telling me there's still a chance. Maryland's remaining Big Ten opponents include Iowa and Michigan State, both on the road, back home against Michigan, up I-95 to go to Rutgers, and finishing out the regular season home against Penn State. While this final stretch, all these teams currently have current conference losing records like Maryland. While this final stretch surely won't be any cakewalk, the Terps may be able to cause some damage come May. All in all, guys, do I think Maryland will make the Big Ten tournament? Probably not. Can I predict the future? No. But does Maryland still have a chance to make the postseason? Most importantly, yes. Back to you guys in Studio A.
Yeah, it's going to take a lot, Joe, for Maryland baseball to turn it around. Not an ideal time to pick up their first conference series win, but we've seen crazier things, Jonah.
I mean, we have, but this is going to be quite the long shot, Benji.
Yeah.
So we'll see. I mean, that would be winning all the awards for the rest of this show this semester if they can come back and get into the Big Ten tournament.
Yeah, but we'll see what happens.
And now stick around because we're going to be playing one of the most iconic games of all time.
We're going to be handing out weekly awards. Don't go anywhere.
The impact of a meal goes well beyond feeding our bodies. Because when people are fed, futures are nourished. Everyone deserves to live a full life. And with your help, together we can end hunger. Join the movement at feedingamerica.org/actnow.
I tell my son, I love you every single day. Now, my dad has never said that to me. Not because he doesn't love me, but because culturally it wasn't comfortable for him. Now that he's a grandfather, he says, I love you to my son every time he sees him. My advice to all the fathers out there, forget the cultural restrictions. They grow up way too fast for you to waste even a single precious moment.
Welcome back to the Left Bench, brought to you by Terrapin Sports Central. I'm Benji Kaufman. That's Jona Jancewicz. Jonah, how would you assess your Jeopardy skills?
Well, I'm a long-time viewer, short-time player, because it's the first time I've ever played Benji, so we'll see. What about you?
Not great, but hopefully I can make my grandmother proud. She is an avid fan. But Jonah, what do we got here? Walk us through what we're doing.
So these are going to be the buzzers that we will be using. They're going to make a sound, so that's the sound you'll be hearing a lot. Now, Benji, we're going to have to guess the right answer, starting with what is, like in real Jeopardy. And our producers will reveal if we get the answer right or wrong. And we're going to be not doing this on money, but on Testudos.
All right, let's do it. Let's get started.
So, yep, let's get ready. All right, so Benji, I'm going to let you, because you're the senior here, which category and which one do you want to pick?
Let's start off with head coaches for 100 Testudos. This MD head coach won an Olympic gold medal in 1988 and 1992.
So we both, it's whoever hits.
I'll say, what is Kathy Reese?
Oh, that's a good one. Let's see. Oh.
Okay, already down 100 Testudos.
Well, we should have known that if you watched the In Focus track and field episode, because they talked about all the Coach Valman with his gold medals in 88 and 92, so that's on me.
Yep.
So, all right,
let's go back to the board.
Back to
Jonah,
the
you make
board.
a choice for the next one.
So let's see. So let's do exciting finishes for 100.
Okay, keeping it at 100. This player passed the ball to Riley Reese in men's lacrosse overtime win versus Ohio State.
All right, wild shot in the dark. Urxa?
Let's see. Okay, that we could have.
I should have known.
We might have been overthinking it with that one.
Our producer said this was going to be very hard, so I was going to go with a kind of out left field answer right there.
Yep.
So
it's a good guess, but yeah, Stanos, he's been unreal. Let's go to the 200s now. Let's go spring athletes for 200 Testudos.
That's really interesting.
This criminology and criminal justice major was the 2025 Big Ten Freshman of the Year.
2025, so not 2026. It's got to be a
looking.
So no, this is last year's spring athlete. Oh man,
someone that's a sophomore this year.
Someone that's a sophomore. I'm thinking
lacrosse, baseball.
It's not going to be baseball or softball. It's going to be lacrosse. What was lacrosse?
All right, give it.
Lauren Lapointe for women's lacrosse.
That's a good guess.
Let's see. Oh my
God.
Kayla
Gilmore.
We knew the sport. That should be like worth 50 Testudos.
I'll give you 50 honorable.
All right, 50 honorable
Testudos.
You have me 100 to 50.
Yep, not a great start for us.
It's not great.
Keep it going,
it's a
Jonah.
little embarrassing. So
yep.
All right, we haven't done spring athletes for 100, so
yeah, let's do that one.
So spring athletes for 100. Let's hope either of us can get this. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. All right,
I think it's a baseball player.
This is a disaster. They got me on this.
Is it? What is Rylan Stockton? I was Stockton and Costello. I always get those mixed up for baseball. I'm sorry, Ryan, but I knew I should have got that one.
We got to get one more.
Okay, we have two chances.
Use our combined brain power.
Yes,
here.
let's work together.
We have to work together for these final two. So let's
back to the board.
Let's see.
Exciting finishes for 200. Yeah, let's see that one. This player hit a walk-off two-run homer to beat Georgetown on April 8th. Let's see it, Jonah.
Zeta Rock. Let's go.
Yep.
Oh, come on.
There
we go. 200 Testudos.
Nice,
I got
Jonah.
that.
Okay.
Let's go.
I'm already happy with the result, however this ends up. One more left. Let's close it out. This was with head coaches for 200. Is that correct? Mm-hmm. Yes. This MD head coach was born in the same hometown as EP Eddie Calkins.
What? This is not fair. We don't even know where Eddie was born.
Man, Eddie doesn't tell us enough.
So, this is why we should know where Eddie was born. I should know his home address, right?
Let's go. Who is Matt Swope? This is a shot in the khaki race. Okay.
My God, we were just talking about
I guessed her for the other head coaching job, but okay. 1 for 5. I'm happy. That was a good guess that we had.
Yeah, so we're both 1 for 5.
Okay, that works.
But we have Final Jeopardy. So we can wage all our Testudos on this one.
Okay. Where did Terps women's golf place in the Terps Invitational?
Oh. Okay, I got it.
Okay, wagering all of our testudos.
I'm wagering
You got
all
it.
for nothing.
Go
So
for it.
I'm going to guess number 3.
I will say 5.
Give it to me.
Nice,
Let's go.
Jonah. Okay, I'm
Thank
counting
you.
that as a win for both of us.
Thank you scrolling on Reels at 12 p.m. last night.
Very nice,
That
very
really helped
nice.
right there.
That was a lot of fun, Jonah. But now to hand out some hardware. This Terp has been exceptional since April has arrived. 12 hits and 12 runs this month for the Dirty Terps. Jordan Crossland has been producing on the front end of the lineup, so it's a no-brainer to crown him as this week's Terp of the Week. After cranking a homer on Tuesday at UMBC, Crossland led off the Terps in the latest weekend series win over Indiana and tallied 6 hits, 3 ribbies, and 3 walks. Crossland was super reliable and gave the Terps a big boost in hitting. Can the Terps turn it around? Crossland will be a key contributor going forward. Congrats to the redshirt sophomore on being named this week's Terp of the Week.
Now, his team is one of the worst in the association, but he's been balling out. Our Pro Terp of the Week is none other than former Crab 5 big man, Juju Reese. Reese signed a 2-way contract earlier this spring with the Washington Wizards and has been making the most of the opportunity. This past week, he's been on a tear, so far his best in his early NBA career. In 3 straight games, he averaged a 16-point, 14-rebound double-double. That's not all. Reese tied the big Aristotle, that's right, Shaq, for the fastest player in NBA history to reach 100 career rebounds. Congrats to Juju Reese for being our Pro Terp of the Week. All right, Benji, this is your final time doing it. It's that time again. Top 5 plays.
Let's do it, Jonah. Starting off with number 5. The question Jonah guessed correctly, Zeta Rock sending one out of here for the win against Georgetown on Wednesday was electric in that midweek action. Zeta Rock sending one out for the win for the Terps. That was a lot of fun to see last week.
That was a lot of fun. Look at me reading the rundown. So at number 4, we have JJ Soriano with the great save here. Just puts that right there, catches it. No, sir. That's a save right there for JJ Soriano.
Makes it look super easy there. But at number 3, Aiden Aiken for men's lacrosse, dancing, going coast to coast against Rutgers and just whamming it right in there for the goal. Was one of 12 that Terps team scored over the weekend. Was just electric, and there was just no stopping any of those Terps.
I mean, what a dominant day for Maryland men's lacrosse. And here we go. David Mendes with a diving stop. He reaches it and gets it. Oh my goodness. What a play right there. I mean, what a catch. You see the slow down right here. He fully extends right there. I don't know how that didn't hurt.
Now, we said he was coming up later in the show, and here he is, Devin Russell, walk-off grand slam to seal the conference win for Maryland over Indiana. Had one on Saturday, but this one was for 4 ribbies, and you see how much it means there for Maryland baseball. It was just a big win and just a lot of fun to see. Vibes were high there over the weekend.
Well, now I could have just spoiled the surprise a little earlier, but before we sign off, we have to mention again that this is the last time you're going to be co-anchoring right here on the left bench. Thank you, Benji. It's been a great just working with you, seeing how you work in your process. It's been awesome, and congrats. I mean, seriously.
Thank you, John. A lot of people to thank here to put me in this position. And when my parents were looking at the Merrill, the curriculum, the first thing that they saw and all the events going on was the left bench. So it's kind of a no-brainer for me to, you see me there. That's in Madison on the right, Terrapin Sports Central, and the left bench has really taken me to a bunch of different places, from the desk to Madison, Wisconsin. That was a dream come true covering that game. So yeah, it's just been a lot of fun.
Is that Wisconsin game your favorite memory here?
I would have to think so, because growing up, I could never imagine doing something journalistic there in Madison, but the left bench brought me there, so it's been a lot of fun.
Bench.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, thank you so much, Benji. That does it for us this evening. Make sure to follow all of our coverage on Instagram, X, YouTube, and online at terrapinsportscentral.com. Thanks for joining us. Sierra Green and Jake Ballard will talk all things Maryland baseball on this week's edition of Left Bench in Focus.
That show will drop at 10 a.m. on our YouTube channel. Benji Kaufman here, signing off from the left bench. We'll see you next time.